Hello, lovely people of the mindful drinking movement. I have a message for you today from the group coaching sessions. And it's just quite simple. I'm just going to distill it for you so you can spend your time doing yoga or getting something healthy to eat and not watching an hour-long video. And the message of that is that your drinking is enraptured inside of a story that you have about it. And to create awareness that the story exists in your thoughts because of your experiences in your past. It's not who you are. But when we're enraptured in a drinking habit, we're identifying so strongly with the story that we've created. And so when you believe yourself to be something or to be a certain way, you will act in accordance with that. So if you believe that drinking helps you relax, if you believe that you need it for stress relief, if you believe that you are a wino and that you need it to have fun or to engage or to be social, these are all beliefs, and beliefs are fabrications. The problem lies in believing that our beliefs are true, as opposed to believing that our beliefs are flexible and that we can make them malleable by just observing them and naming them and choosing to believe something else. So it's really a practice of creating awareness about your thoughts and the stories that you're telling yourself around drinking. And when you can get some distance from your thoughts and your beliefs and see them as separate from you, and something that exists outside of you that you're creating, right? You're like living inside of this swirl of stories and beliefs, and everything that you do is filtered through those. So creating awareness around what you're telling yourself and what your stories are will help you become more of a witnesser in your life than a reactor, right? When we can separate our beliefs and our thoughts from us, we can get some distance. We can see it at a distance. We see that we are not that. We are not our beliefs if we can see them. Right? This might get a little philosophical, but roll with me here. So the practice that I encourage people to take on is to become a witnesser of your thoughts. And not only to become a witnesser, but to become a loving witness. Witness yourself in a tender and loving way with empathy and seeking to understand why you believe the things that you believe. Why do you think the things that you think? They didn't just spring up overnight, and they're not for nothing. They all have a foundation. They have a history. And so to take yourself backwards in a journey and to see where these beliefs and these stories formed and how they formed and grew and developed over time gives you such a deeper understanding and empathy for yourself and all that you've been through on this journey of life, rather than just that you have a problem or that something's wrong with you. That's not even true. So I encourage people to not even, don't say those things to yourself. Don't repeat those things to yourself. Our internal tape is responsible for the actions that our body takes, right? Because our internal tape is part of our subconscious mind, and the body is all an accumulation of your subconscious thoughts. The things that you think and tell yourself are then the instructions that your body will then go do. So in order to change our subconscious thoughts and beliefs, we have to first become aware of them. So become a loving witness to the things that you're telling yourself, to the stories that you have about drinking and why it matters to you and why it's important to you. And the less you can, the looser you can make that grip around that. And we grip, right, because we're afraid, or we're like, don't want to let go, or we don't know who we are without it. I recall a time where I was afraid to even look at my drinking because I didn't know who I would be without it. That scared the shit out of me to not be a wino, to not be somebody who drank every day, who drank for all the reasons that I told myself I was drinking. I found that very scary. And if you do too, then I completely understand. And I'm sure a lot of us do understand and can relate to that. It's also because there's so much stigma attached to drinking, or to even saying that you have a problem or that you have an issue, or that this is something that you would like support and help with. But that's why we're in these types of communities and these types of containers. You can have the experience of lessening your grip around your fear, around letting go of drinking. So my encouragement for you is to become a loving witness of yourself and identify what thoughts you are thinking, what beliefs are you really holding close. The Latin, I learned this a little bit ago, but the Latin root of belief is to hold dear. So our beliefs, we hold them close, and we're very afraid to change them because they are part of our identity. And shifting one's identity can feel very scary. It feels like a loss of self, or a loss of sense of oneself, or who you know yourself to be. But actually, the opposite is very true. When we can let go of what we believe to be true or who we think we are, we can really become anybody. We can become anything or anyone, because then we're open to change and flexibility. But until we are willing to just loosen the grip a little bit on who we really believe that we are, change will be difficult to see. The possibility of change comes when you can accept that change is possible for you, when you can accept that you can evolve into a different version of yourself. And this all stems back to changing your thoughts and your beliefs and your story around alcohol. So become a witnesser of yourself. Slow down. I teach my clients this as well, to practice the pause. So when you feel an inclination to drink, or it's just like it's in the flow of your day, it's 5 o'clock or 9 o'clock or whatever. If it's just seems like you're just doing things habitually, you're not necessarily triggered, practice the pause. So let's use this example. So at 5 o'clock, if you normally just drink right when you get off work at 5, pause for a moment. And whether you do or you don't, practice this. Practice being still with yourself for a moment and observing your thoughts and noticing what it is that is really happening behind the scenes, rather than just this automatic urge to go drink. Because you've taught your body a cellular memory of routine, right? If this is your habit after work, drink. Your body has a memory. Your body is ruled by your subconscious, and your body has a memory for it. It's like stronger than your will. It's stronger than your conscientious efforts to change. We have to make long-term change at the subconscious level, or it will be a flash in the pan, and it won't be satisfying, it won't be gratifying, it won't lead you to long-term growth and self-evolution. Practice the pause, slow down, be with yourself, take some deep breaths, and just notice what is going on with you internally. There might be a lot of emotional turmoil. There is, in fact, I guarantee it, a much deeper need that is striving to be met than to seek some instant relief from boredom or stress or what have you. Those are like the topical stories. I love air quotes, the topical stories that we tell ourselves, but there's a much deeper meaning happening for you. And when you can discover that, and you do discover it by slowing down, observing yourself, becoming the loving witness to yourself, question your beliefs and observe your thoughts. These are really simple, but probably not so easy things to do because of the culture that we live in and the way that we're accustomed to being. But it's small shifts that will really be the biggest game changer, because your nervous system needs time to adjust to the changes that you're making. So if you're brand new at this mindful drinking game, practice the pause before you drink anything alcoholic. Just don't for a minute, right? Just slow down. Ask yourself what it is that you really want to be experiencing. Observe the way that you're thinking. And notice too how it almost seems like there's a couple people talking, right? It's like a higher self personality that doesn't really want to drink, that would prefer to go outside and go for a walk. And then the more egoic self that is like, just do it. You can have whatever you want. You deserve this. Then there might be another sense of self that's like the spirit self, right? What is really the desire of your greater sense of yourself? What does that version of you really want to experience? So it might seem a little bit chaotic when you do first start listening to your thoughts. It can feel like there's like a multifaceted personality conversation happening, and to just become aware of this and to not try to shut anyone up or push any one of yourselves, right? But to notice, what are these parts of you want? There's desire happening here. There's need and want happening. And when we just try to cut that off and sever that off, it comes back in full force. You have needs and desires and urges that you're trying to meet with alcohol, but that of course are never going to be met with alcohol, because alcohol is a void. And when we expect alcohol to give us something back, we will just be continuing to go deeper and deeper into that hole.